Today I want to talk with you about the full moon being in Taurus, which means that the sun is actually in Scorpio and opposed by the moon. This is what creates a full moon. I have prepared this PowerPoint presentation for you, so I stay very focused and present the material the best way I know how. And I would love to hear back from you. Please like the video if you do. Give me a comment. I really like to have a dialogue here of some kind, so it's not just this empty space I'm talking into. And I am looking forward to hear from you. If you go to my website and sign up for my newsletter, I will give you access to your personal birth chart, your natal chart. And also you will get a report for your love stone based on your Venus position in your chart. So if you hang in there, at the end of the video, I'm going to give you a link to go to my website so you can have access to that. And that will help you, whatever forecast material I'm presenting, to really know where whatever we discuss is happening in your chart. So then it will all become very much concrete and applicable. So the exact full moon in Taurus is happening at 3 degrees, 44 minutes, and will happen at 5:05 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So depending on where you are on the planet, the time will change, of course. As usual, this is a general forecast video about what it means that the full moon is in Taurus, Taurus archetype and personality. We're going to get very concrete about 7 tips of how you can use these energies, how you can ride the Taurus wave. But of course, if you have any planets in your birth chart in Taurus, this will be a really profound video for you, because you're going to learn a lot about the archetypes, the personalities, the high and low end manifestations, and the evolutionary perspective. So welcome. I hope you will enjoy the material. It is interesting. Some people are really into lunar astrology, and I can really see their point, because we are so connected to the moon cycle. We can see and feel the moon waxing and waning, so we can follow the moon throughout the months and can get more self-conscious and aligned with our inner world of feelings. So in a way, I always like to say it's a form of emotional intelligence that can evolve if we follow the lunar cycle consciously. A little bit about me. My name is Shakti Carola Nevrin. I'm originally from Germany, have been living on Maui for 20 years now. So I'm doing most of my work online, sitting at the computer, doing my forecasts, and do astrological counseling, which I am very passionate about, because after 37 years, there is no doubt in my mind that it truly deeply helps us to live our highest, best potential in this lifetime. And the deciding factor is of course our state of consciousness. So astrology is a wonderful way to widen that state of consciousness into a wisdom perspective. Everything in astrology is always based on your birth chart, your natal chart. So wherever your moon is in your birth chart, that will describe your own inner emotional filter towards the world. So it describes your inner mood as well as your needs. So we could call the moon your heart and soul. So it's also showing me your driving need of what you need in order to feel safe and supported and nurtured. So overall, we could say the moon in your birth chart is the source of your joy and happiness. So you have to align with your moon in order to be able to experience that. Similarly, when we have the full moon happening in the skies for all of us, depending on where it happens in your chart, that is kind of a wake-up call, becoming more consciousness of what is going on in there and what steps you can take to be more happy and content and joyous in your life. So Taurus is the first sign of Earth, and it's one of the two signs which is ruled by Venus. So Venus here is very down to earth, very practical. Usually we perceive Taurus people as very grounded. They often relate well to practical projects. So often they are farmers, gardeners, sculptors, jewelers, wherever it's really about a very practical approach to life, very grounded approach. That is where we found a lot of Taurus people. The Taurus personality is deeply in touch with the physical realm, the physical dimension of life. So there is this practicality in touching things in a very concrete way. And an area, therefore, which is very important for Taurus is learning to enjoying the simple pleasures of life, which always have to do with our perception, and our senses are attached to our body. So we want to enjoy life through our physical body. Sensuality, massage, being touched. So there's a very kinesthetic connection for Taurus. So again, the Taurus personality values comfort, stability, physical pleasures. There is a very artistic orientation with Taurus people because of the Venus rulership. So they're very pragmatic, very down to earth, very realistic, and therefore they do care a lot about financial matters, having their money trapped together. And of course, also Taurus has a shadow. So the shadow of Taurus could be that they become too rigid. So there is a certain rigidity which you see when the enraged Taurus runs after a red flag in the arena. So it's kind of set its course and here it goes. So sometimes it's really hard to turn off. I do feel qualified to talk about Taurus specifically this month because my Sun and my Mercury is in Taurus. So I do have a lot of those qualities I'm discussing this time. And I do know about the shadow, so there's a certain rigidity we have talked about I can relate to in my own personality. There is a materialistic streak in Taurus, so on the high end it means they're pretty together and know how to apply things to make them work. But if it's only about money, then it's more the shadow I want to talk about here. Then there's a certain stubbornness with Taurus. So it relates to the rigidity. So with Taurus energies, sometimes when we have been set on our course and we have a goal and an intention, and then we just keep going. It's also an aspect of Earth that it has a certain gravity to it. So if you get it moving, it's moving for a while. So Taurus comes by his stubbornness kind of natural that way. So you want to be aware of that. Another low-end shadow aspect is a certain laziness with Taurus. And that laziness can mean you're too much on your couch and watching too much TV because you're boring yourself. So that means you are certainly not living up to your potential. So even if Taurus teaches us about becoming grounded and centered and balanced in the physical realm, if we get too far off that range, too lazy, too stubborn, too hunkered down in a specific position, then we are not living up to our potential. So one of the remedies looking at gemstones for Taurus, the one I like the best is the emerald, and I'm going to talk about it a little further at the end of the video. So with these energies in the air, for all of us through the full moon, I just want to point you through some Taurus projects which help you to use those frequencies to ride the wave and to point your attention into a specific direction this month. Of course, if you have planets in Taurus, then these are more basic suggestions to apply and look at in general. Okay, so first of all, do you enjoy your artistic potential? How in touch are you with that? Are you playing an instrument? Do you like to dance? So these are good questions to ask yourself this month. And maybe you want to sign up for a class to learn a specific kind of dance, or how to make live drawings, or whatever tickles your fancy. This is a good month for you to get started with that. So I've talked about the physicality of Taurus. So therefore, this is a good month to enjoy your body any way you can. With gentle exercises, Taurus usually is not a sign where they like to exhaust themselves. So, but I think especially if you are a Taurus, you really want to figure out what you like to do in the way of exercise. So otherwise, you get lazy and don't do anything at all. So gentle exercise is a good direction to think. Dancing, I would think dancing would qualify. Of course, we all like massages, but especially Taurus. So enjoy yourself this month. Go get a massage, have some kind of body work done. I just love to do this network chiropractic sessions where I so deeply relax through my physical body into other dimensions of myself. So just play around through enjoying your body in a more conscious way this month. The third one is what I call sun meditation. And I believe it's one of the oldest forms of meditation, by just sitting or laying in the sun, just relaxing into the warmth. And it helps you with your vitamin D. So wherever you can be outside, sitting on a park bench, laying at the beach, that is a chance for you to settle down, to ground yourself, to find that inner place where you can connect to a different state of consciousness. And the other ancient meditation is a fire meditation, where we used to sit in front of a burning fire, and it can create similar states. So I just love the sun meditation. Another area you could pay attention to this month is the area of gardening. So that's a very mild exercise and activity which is known to give a lot of pleasure and nurturing, just by being out in the garden, sticking your fingers into the ground and get dirty. Here again is the idea about settling and how we can do that best. So it can be you sit outside with a glass of tea and you're smelling the roses, or you're sitting at the beach watching the sunset, or wherever you can see the sunset from where you're living. So the idea is really to take the time to not be active, to just allow that overactive mind we all have to settle down. And of course, there are different ways of spending time in nature. To just go for walks or go for a longer hike. So however you can manage, usually spending time in nature is ultimately healing and nurturing. In the mainstream astrology, Taurus is looked as the sign of wealth, of abundance, of money. So, but you might want to ask yourself the question, is this what your true resource is? Is it the money you have in the bank? Or is it the skill you have to create life the way you want it? I believe I have shed some light into the true riches of Taurus and the true resources we're looking at here. From the evolutionary perspective, I'm always interested to look at what is really the goal for the soul. So here with Taurus, what the soul wants to learn and needs to learn, what's the lesson plan, is all about all the things we have discussed: the grounding, the calming, the centering, the feeling good about oneself, to claim one's dignity, one's self-esteem. So when that is happening, you live the true wealth of Taurus. When we use gemstones in order to balance specific planetary principles in our chart, then we would look for gemstones which are carrying the specific frequency in the chart we want to support. So one of those healing, ultimately most supportive gemstones for Taurus is the emerald. The emerald is a very female stone. It symbolizes the queen, the high priestess. So it holds a worldly as well as a spiritual power. So we look at emerald as the divine mother, that quality we all are so longing for. So when we have an emerald and we wear it, like you have an old emerald ring or pendant, you get it out and you might support yourself with your ability to open up, to be nourished, to feel empowered, to connect with your own inner wisdom. And overall, it has a deeply soothing energy. So this is definitely something which can be very helpful when we encounter challenging and hard times for our heart. I welcome all your comments and likes, of course. If you want to now get a hold of your natal birth chart and want to be kept in the loop for the forecasts, you want to go over to my website and sign up for my newsletter, and then I guide you on how to get your free horoscope. And also you could sign up for your subscription here on YouTube. So either way, one of us will keep you in the loop. If you're really interested in astrology, I'd like you to know that I do teach astrology classes for beginners once in a while. So it could be something you're interested to learn for your own inner process or to start a new career. Either way, connect with me, send me an email, and I will let you know about the specifics and when the next training is going to start. As an evolutionary astrologer with 37 years of experience, I'm very passionate about astrology. You might be able to tell. And I truly believe that you are born to thrive and that your astrological blueprint is there to help you with your karmic healing and a profound transformation. And it's all happening in our consciousness. So if you're interested to have a look at your personal chart with me, give me a call. I'm in Hawaii. 808-878-8182, or head over to my website and connect with me there, mauiastrologyreading.com. Thanks for coming and listening. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like me, and I hope to see you soon again. And as we say here on Maui, aloha.